Hi, I'm Jennet Ingle, the 5-Minute Reedmaker. If you're watching this on YouTube, would you go ahead and click subscribe for me? That way you always know when I drop a new episode, and it's easier for other people to find my channel and to become better reedmakers and happier musicians. Thank you. Today I would like to talk about complacency. And if you think, oh no, Jennet, I am not complacent about my reeds, not at all, I can't make reeds at all, I think this conversation might still be for you. So stick around. But today I'm speaking to people who are already pretty good reed makers, like me. I had an experience a few weeks ago of playing second oboe in a very, very excellent orchestra. So the principal oboist was excellent. And I don't play second oboe a lot. My role tends to be principal or sometimes English horn. That's where I like to be. That's what I enjoy doing. But the thing is that when you play principal oboe all the time, when you play first oboe most of the time, you don't get feedback. Sure, the conductor might say something, the conductor might adjust a phrase, adjust a dynamic, a balance, but you're not hearing what other people are doing in their role of principal oboe. You only know what you do. And when I get the opportunity to play second oboe to someone who is really an outstanding player, I always learn something because suddenly I'm able to be inspired by somebody else's work, because the role of the second oboist is to be a chameleon, to blend in, to support, to match. And that difficulty, that enjoyable difficulty for me really means that I learn a ton because I am, in sitting there doing my job, also absorbing the things that I need to do to match that principal player. So as I was playing this gig, I was really moved by the beauty of the sound, of the tone of this player. And I am on record as saying we do not make reeds for tone, we make reeds for function. But he also had excellent functionality in his reeds. Everything was really beautiful, really controlled, really managed. And it made me think that although my reeds are absolutely fine and I can play them, there is another level. There is another better level that I could be achieving. And so I went home and I pulled out those reeds that I had been playing on and I improved them. What I actually did was just one more layer of refinement on the reeds that I already had. I petted the kitty a little bit more, I polished the heart a little bit more, I clipped a tiny, tiny bit. They were already okay, but I made them better because my job was to match this principle, but also because I was inspired to try to match the principle, and because hearing what somebody else is doing gave me the message that I had been complacent with my reeds. They were perfectly fine, they could have been better, and so I made them better. And I wonder for how many of us we are accepting as good as we've got to be actually as good as it gets. In how many cases are we assuming that because the reeds that we are playing are working fine, because we can achieve the dynamic contrast, the response, the flexibility that we want, how often do we assume that that's good enough? And how often would we benefit, even as grown-ups and even as professionals, from just asking for one more step of goodness from our own reeds? It made me think about a lot of things, right? I am known to be the unfussy oboist, and I don't want to spend more time puttering around with my reeds than I do actually playing the oboe. But of course, your reeds can make it easier, can make it better, can improve your situation on the oboe as well. And it was a really helpful reminder for me to hear this other principal playing on, like, I saw his reeds. They were different from mine. That's not a problem. But the functionality that he was getting and the sound that he was getting were better than the functionality and the sounds of my existing reeds, so I was able to improve them. Now, if you are at the other side of that spectrum, if you are the person who I hear from very often, who says, wow, I can get my reeds to pretty much play. I can consistently make a reed that I can play on, and I am scared to go farther because I think I will screw it up if I try to do better. If you are that person, getting the reeds to like just good enough and then muscling them the rest of the way with your air and your embouchure and just making it work, I wonder in some ways if that fear of going too far, of ruining the reed, of failing to improve your situation, might have its root in the same sort of complacency that I'm describing in myself. Of course, if you are in that situation, if it feels really risky to work on your reeds, then my rule number one, and this is my rule for myself as well, do not work on your best reed. Your best reed is just going to sit there in your case and come out for the concerts and for the rehearsals, and you're going to play it and you're going to have a great time. But anything in your case that is not your best reed, let me empower you to try to improve it. You could have a new best reed in 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and then of course you'd be allowed to work on the other one. Because part of the joy of being an oboist, part of the joy of being a musician, is that we are always looking for that next level. We are always looking to be better, to improve in some way, whether that is in our musicianship, in our preparation, in our technical practice, or in our reed making. We always want it to be better. So whether your existing consistency of reed making is excellent and you're a little bit complacent, or whether your current consistency of reed making is like a little frightening, and you're scared to go farther, let me challenge you to take a reed that is not essential for tonight's concert and see if you can do something even better than what you have already been doing. That is my challenge for you today. This has been a 5-minute Reedmaker session. You can follow these short videos here on YouTube. You can subscribe if you wish. I hope you will. And if you need to reach me to order reeds or cane, or a copy of my book, The Happiest Musician, or to ask me a question that I might be able to answer in a future 5-minute Reedmaker episode, you can find me at jennetingle.com. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.